Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year, that time when all indie fans rejoice because the big one is back. The big one returns. King of Trios 2014 starts in just mere hours. But I am not the expert on this stuff. We're going to pass over to our resident indie guy, and Kevin Hawk is going to tell you all about what you can expect the next 3 days in the King of Trios event.
Yes. I am excited.
Me too.
You know how you can tell I'm excited? I've been up for 30 hours.
Specifically to do this special update just for you.
Because King of Trios. King of Trios is the only thing that gets me excited enough to stay up for 30 hours to do the very first Wrestling Rundown Special Edition video.
Yeah. This is the thing.
This is a groundbreaking moment
This
right
is
now.
the thing.
And Thomas Wolf isn't here to share it with us.
He's texting me. So.
Yeah. We have his input via text
He's
message.
kinda here.
Yeah. Alright, so...
So wait, I'm Travis Colt, this is Thomas Wolf, and this is Kevin Hawk.
Yeah. We're starting in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Night 1 of King of Trios. By the time you're watching this, it'll probably be less than 12 hours away. First night is always the first round. 8 matches. The first elimination round in the King of Trios tournament.
Is it just the first round?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's generally 8 matches per night, 7 match on the third night because of the tag team.
Okay, that's right.
Looks like the opening match is going to be the big European flair match. It's going to be Team UK, the Dunn brothers and Mark Andrews against the Block Party, the Proletariat Boar of Moldova, Mr. Azerbaijan, and Parakesh Sabar,
Gotcha.
a.k.a. ex-Pakistan.
Alright.
And then the following match is going to be Night Eye for the Pirate Guy and Princess Kimberly versus the Gekido team of 17, The Shard, and Jigsaw.
Ooh. See, we haven't seen Night Eye for the Pirate Guy a lot in the last, well, obviously, before and currently after Chikara's break. So it'll be interesting to see them go against people that, 17 is returning also. He just recently returned with the whole Flood storyline. But then you've got 2 guys that have been going for a while in Jigsaw and the Shard.
Yeah, and
so it'll be an interesting match to see.
Night Eye for the Pirate Guy and Princess Kimberly have been keeping themselves relevant in the Chikara sister promotion. Wrestling is fun.
This is true.
So, it's not like they're coming back, per se, to the ring, but it is their first Chikara appearance in a while.
When was the last? Have Night Eye for the Pirate Guy been in King of Trios before?
I
feel like they have.
No, they've done the tag team gauntlet.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm thinking. Gotcha.
But I don't think either character has been in King of Trios. I don't think Lance Steele or Jolly Roger have been in a King of Trios team.
And we know Princess Kimberly hasn't.
Yeah.
So, first time for everything.
But yeah, and then there's also way back history with Jigsaw too, because they were all from the same original era of Chikara.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, the winner of those 2 matches are going to face each other in the first quarterfinals match.
Should be interesting.
And then we move on to match 3, the Flood. Eddie Kingston, Jimmy Jacobs, and Vulgar against the reigning King of Trios champions, Ultramanus Black, Hollow Wicked, and Frightmare, the Spectral Envoy.
This is going to be a very physical match because we know Eddie Kingston is always physical.
Yeah.
And, especially with him being on the side of the Flood and having people like Mantis and Wicked and Frightmare be so against the Flood, there's going to be a lot of tension in this match.
Yeah. When I first heard this match, I was kind of surprised they were putting the Flood against the reigning King of Trios champions.
Well, yeah, and to think, with the star power that you have on the Flood team with Jimmy Jacobs and Eddie Kingston, one of these teams is getting eliminated in the first round.
Yeah, and it's basically 2 of the teams that you could argue are the favorites to win the tournament.
Absolutely.
And then the winner of that match is going to go on to face the winner of Team Extravaganza, which is Thunder Kitty, Marion Fontaine, and Jervis Cottonbelly, against the Devastation Corporation, Sidney Bacabella's team he's thrown into the King of Trios this year. It's going to be Flex Rumble Crunch, Max Smashmaster, and Blaster McMassive.
I think we can go on a limb and say, just based on size-wise, that the corporation's going to take this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the least, but I'm not going to count out Team Extravaganza just yet.
Yeah.
You know, you never know what they're going to have up their sleeve going into a situation like this. Hopefully they have something, or they're going to get killed.
I mean, you know, I've just recently been introduced to Marianne Fontaine, but I know that Jervis Cottonbelly is a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah.
So, and as far as Thunder Kitty, I'm really interested to see how the women in the tournament this year fare, because I don't know anything about them.
I mean, and you have to think where the women are being paired off in the tournament, like the physicality of Pieces of Hate.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
And the size of the Devastation Corporation, where they're the teams opposing the female representatives of other teams.
Yeah, so we're either going to get some very definitive wins, or we're going to get some interesting upsets.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we're going to move on to the second half of the first round. We've got the BDK Cube. That's going to be Aries Knockin', led by Dr. Cube, going against the team of 3 Peck O, Scott Parker, Shane Matthews, and Archibald Peck.
Well, for me personally, my pick to win is going to be 3 Peck O. They're who I feel is going to take the tournament this year. So based on that, and on the fact that Dr. Cube isn't a regular wrestler, I'm going to say 3 Peck O are going to take this one.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. Obviously, it's not 3 Peck O's first time being a trio.
Mm-hmm.
First time in King of Trios, yes, but they've been teaming up as of recently.
Yeah.
Whereas this is going to be the first outing of Knockin', Aries, and Cube together as a trio.
Yeah, Knockin' and Aries will work well together just because they are in the BDK.
Yes.
But as far as Dr. Cube is, they're only, the only reason they're aligned in any way, shape, or form is they're all part of the flood.
Yeah.
So.
And what I'm looking at is it's sharp knock and firepower from having Tursus.
Yeah.
Who's not going to be in trios. Trading him out for Dr. Cube, I think, is definitely lowering their chances very significantly.
Yeah.
And the winner of that match is going to take on the winner of this grudge match. This has been a feud that's been going on for, years now, it seems like, since their inception. Colony Extreme Force is going to be taking on the Colony.
Yeah, this is the first year that the Colony the Colony Extreme Force have been in trios. But this is the first trios with this particular pairing of the Colony.
Yeah.
So, and with Fire Ant and Silver Ant are both former King of Trios winners, along with Soldier Ant. I don't know. This one is this is an interesting one. With how many flood teams there are, I'm not sure who to expect to go forward.
Yeah.
So
there's almost one in every match.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of maybe 2 of them. It could go either way. It's going to be interesting seeing the unity of the new version of the Colony.
Yeah.
They've been together since just about the end of Chikara's run before Never Compromise.
Yeah. Before Assailant became Worker Ant.
Yeah. And now that he's donned the Worker Ant, this is going to be their first year as Fire Ant, Silver Ant, and Worker Ant.
Yes.
As the Colony. I'm putting my money on the Colony this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Colony become the first ever 2-time King of Trios. And then the last pair of matches, we're going to be seeing probably, this is going to be three of these teams are probably the most anticipated 3 teams on the whole show. First match being the Golden Trio, the Campeones de Parejas, the Throwbacks, Dasher Hatfield and Mr. Touchdown, and teaming with the Chikara Grand Champion Icarus are going to be taking on Chavo Guerrero, Homicide, and Hernandez, LAX.
See that? Yeah, this is LAX. You know, I'm excited to see, but I do like the throwbacks. I do like Icarus. So, man, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna say LAX is gonna. I think LAX might move forward.
Yeah, you know, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the first round victory for LAX.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but it, you know, if Golden Trio takes it, I'm not going to be disappointed in any way.
Oh, absolutely not.
And they're going to go on to face the winners of the Spirit Squad versus Kazarni in the Auditorium.
This one is kind of up in the air currently.
Yeah, the rumors are that at the CZW Dojo Wars, that Kefka the Quiet fractured his arm.
Yeah.
Apparently, reports are that he's saying that he's good to go via his Twitter.
Okay.
But then there are other people reporting on various wrestling websites that his arm is fractured.
You know, it's...
Either way, I mean, if it's not fractured, awesome, he'll be there, and we'll have that match. You know, maybe if it is, I feel like this is such a big event, and for it to be his inaugural King of Trios, that despite being injured, he might, even if he is injured, try to push through and be at King of Trios.
Yeah.
At risk of his own health, but at the same time, you know, this is like, you know, you don't want to miss out on WrestleMania if you're in the WWE.
Exactly.
If you're in Chikara, you don't want to miss out on King of Trios weekend.
Yeah, and, you know, I think even if he is working with a fractured arm, I think it's very plausible that he could, you know, do a few things, but mostly have Grimsley and Bodhi take most of the match.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got the three members of the Spirit Squad. You know, they're going to be flying all over the place, and those are the people. You know, that's a team that the crowd is going to be most excited to see.
Yeah.
So I think all the attention is going to be on the Spirit Squad. So I think if Kefka works less of the match itself, I think it probably will go unnoticed.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very interesting paired off round one.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one of those ones where there's a handful, maybe two of the matches where you're like, yeah, I'm fairly certain so-and-so is going to win. But then you got a lot of matches that are just completely up in the air.
Yeah. Well, and it is Chikara, so honestly...
Anything's up in the air.
Anything and everything is up in the air.
Yeah. So, with that being done, night 2. Prior to night 2 starting, they're going to have the annual fan conclave. It's $10 to get in. It's at the Palmer Center a couple hours before King of Trios starts. They're going to have a wrestling trivia game. The Technicos are going to do their own version of Family Feud. There's going to be a Nintendo 64 No Mercy tournament. There's going to be card games. There's going to be prizes that can be won. And guaranteed shenanigans all about. Plus a wrestler photo booth where you can take pictures with your favorite Chikara wrestlers.
And this is why we're going to King of Trios next year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love for $10.
Yeah.
Just to get in and have fun. I'm sure there might be fees for the different things, like to get into the tournaments or to get into the photo booth and stuff like that. But
yeah.
Come on, $10 just to get in and just like be around other Chikara fans and be like just to be in person with the Chikara wrestlers. That's an unbelievable price.
Yeah, and another thing I forgot to mention, a King of Trios veteran, Sean Waltman, is going to be there for this weekend doing color commentary for the show.
Now I know they're doing a pre-show like an hour before night 1 starts, where he's going to be there. Now, is he going to be doing commentary through the 3 days, or is it just going to be day 1, or is it just going to be night 1?
As far as I know, he's going to be there all 3 nights.
Cool.
I mean,
so we may have like a consistent commentary team, maybe him and Quackenbush, or off and on with Bryce or something like that.
But yeah, they have you're gonna have the mainstay staples switching in and out.
Yeah.
Because of course Bryce Remsburg, Mike Quackenbush, Leonard F. Chikaris, and
Yeah.
Ultramanus Black likes to get in the booth a lot.
It's true.
You know, and then having
Dasher Hatfield likes to get in there fairly often too.
Yeah. And Gavin.
Oh, yes.
So I think it'd be interesting to see if we get one of our first ever 3-person commentary teams.
Ooh.
If they end up, if they keep Waltman on, or keep one person on and rotate people out constantly. There's enough people there, they could potentially be doing 3-person commentary teams this year.
Waltman, Quackenbush, and Bryce Remsburg. That's my vote for commentary team of the year.
So after the conclave closes, fans are going to take their seats, and we're going to begin night 2, the quarterfinal round, 4 matches. We kind of went into the possible pairings, talking about round 1. For me, the big spotlight here is on the 2 Ray Day Voladores eliminator matches.
Oh man, this is always an exciting part.
Yeah, they didn't do Ray Day Voladores during the 2012 King of Trios tournament, and I felt kind of let down.
Yeah, because it
was a traditional thing for a couple the past few years before that.
I think they did it like the 3 years prior to it.
Yeah, and and they ended up doing it. They ended up doing it at National Pro Wrestling Day.
Yeah,
instead of at King of Trios.
Yeah, so we kind of got our fix.
But it was to me it was just it was a tradition thing.
Yeah.
And when I heard that Ray Day Voladores was coming back this year, it made me even more excited.
Yeah.
Now, generally, Ray Day Voladores is comprised of 2 guys per match who are from outside of the tournament, and then each match would have 2 guys who were eliminated members from teams from night 1.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it's all 8 guys are fresh, not from round 1 matches in the tournament.
Wow. So everyone is extremely viable to win this year.
Everyone's going to be completely fresh.
Very cool.
Yeah, none of them are going to be pulling double duty beforehand. First match, we're going to have Tigre Uno from TNA. He's going to be going against the Spirit Dragon Shinron, and Rich Swann, and Chuck Taylor.
Yeah. That, I don't know much about Tigre Uno, just because I've seen 2 matches of his from TNA, but he's impressive.
Yeah.
Rich Swann, who's been one of your indie spotlights.
Yeah, he's Mr. Standing 450.
I mean,
you don't have to say anything other than Standing 450.
He is an unbelievable wrestler. Shinron is incredible in his own. Made his debut 2011 for Chikara. Or was it 2012?
It was 2012. It was actually not long before Never Compromised.
Okay, yeah.
It was two shows before Never Compromised.
That's right.
And here's where I'm finding a lot of interesting pairings in this 4-way eliminator.
Okay.
I don't know if Tigre Uno, or Extreme Tiger as he's known outside of TNA, has any history with the other 3 competitors of the match.
Okay.
But Shinron, his first match in Chikara was against Chuck Taylor. He beat Chuck Taylor. Chuck Taylor's been wanting to avenge that loss since it happened. There you go. And then, on top of that, Chuck Taylor and Rich Swann both used to be partners in the Ronin stable in Dragon Gate.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of interesting... what could happen in this one.
There's all kinds of cool stuff going on in here.
Mm-hmm. And that's only the first of 2 4-way eliminator matches for Ray Day Voladores.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have number 2. I was already impressed when they announced that the first competitor was going to be the former TNA X Division champion, the Great Sonata.
Yeah. That in its own is really cool. Because, like I said, we don't watch TNA all that often. But I have seen Sonata wrestle a couple times, and this guy is phenomenal. Like,
yeah, and I mean, I don't expect anything less from a guy who's an actual protege of the Great Buddha.
it's true.
So, the first challenger they announced for him was the Funky Pharaoh Amasis.
Oh, I love Amasis. The Osirian portal, I love the Osirian portal. So when
That's his favorite tag team.
yeah, absolutely. And
It's
so
Chikara.
yeah, Chikara team by far, Osirian portal takes the cake. And to know, because I knew that I liked the Osirian portal when I first started watching Chikara. Then I saw Ophidian in Rey de Voladores, and that solidified it.
He took the Rey de Voladores tournament.
He took it that year.
This
and
year,
so now,
Amasis is going to
his tag team partner Amasis is in it, and that makes me even more excited.
Yeah, they're going to attempt to try and be the first tag team to both
That
be
would
Rey
be
de
awesome.
Voladores winners.
That would be awesome.
And then the third participant, Kid Hybrid,
Yeah.
Orlando Christopher. Now, a lot of people don't know this kid.
I'm one of those people.
If you do not know this kid, look him up on YouTube. You will like what you find. Not much to say other than in the short time that he's been around, he's proven he can hold his own. You know?
I would imagine that he's being put in a very high-profile match in the King of Trios weekend, and Chikara is on a huge streak right now with the amazing storyline that they've been running.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, Quackenbush sees something in him to say, "Let's put this guy in this match."
So it'd be a huge feather in this cap for this guy to come in his first Chikara outing and win the Rey de Voladores.
Absolutely.
And then they announced the final participant of the team earlier today. One of the greatest high flyers in professional wrestling currently, AR Fox.
This guy is so good.
This is a guy who people know from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Evolve, and Dragon Gate. He's done stints in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen him in Ring of Honor before.
He's right up there with the top guys. He's right up there with the Ricochets and the Rich Swans. For the fact that it's like he's in Rey de Voladores is like, and they basically just doubled the excitement factor in what's going to happen.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't the first time AR Fox has done Chikara.
No. I believe he appeared in a King of Trios team a few years back.
Was he in? He wasn't Team Ring of Honor.
No. I don't remember what team, but I think he was in one of the teams.
Yeah, I've definitely seen him in Chikara at least once before.
Yeah, I think he may have teamed with Flip Kendrick and Lewis Linden, but I could be absolutely wrong.
That actually sounds completely right.
I
trust his judgment. Sometimes.
Let's hope I'm right. Could be feeding you bullshit. Yeah, so the Rey de Voladores is back. And the winner of those two matches are going to be facing each other during night 3.
Yeah.
Super exciting. And, it's like always, these guys bust their asses during the Eliminator matches. But what I'm always impressed with is how much they put into the match at night 3 as well. We saw it with Generico versus 1-2-3 Kid in 2011. And then I think Kota Ibushi versus Player Dose of the Super Smash Brothers, the year they were in the finals against each other, was one of the most incredible matches I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. And who did Ophidian face?
I do not remember.
I don't. Obviously, Ophidian outshined that person. But yeah, you've already got this. It's a small tournament. But the fact that it is the King of the Flyers, there's all this excitement, and you've got some amazing talent. So it doesn't matter what combination of guys you get from these two 4-way matches. The finals are going to be unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, though. One name that I thought I was going to see in Rey de Voladores this year that I didn't was ACH.
Yeah.
He's had a history in Chikara.
Yeah.
He was
That's Rifle song.
He was a big contender in the Young Lions Cup 10, where Mr. Touchdown won.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of thinking, I was keeping my fingers crossed to have him in it. He was in the Rey de Voladores tournament last year at National Pro Wrestling Day, where he did go to the finals against 2 Gold Scorpio.
That was a good freaking match.
Yeah. Enough about Rey de Voladores, because there's still 2 more non-tournament matches.
Holy crap.
4 tournament matches.
We're still on night 2.
Yeah, 4 tournament matches for King of Trios, 2 tournament matches for Rey de Voladores. But that's also not counting the fact that you're going to have the Battle of the Bowtie.
Oh, yeah.
Juan Francisco de Coronado against TNA's very own Rockstar Spud.
I'm excited for this strictly because I want to see Rockstar Spud shine.
Yes. And,
because he doesn't in TNA.
Not really.
Not often, at least. Maybe I'm not watching enough TNA.
Yeah, and one of the things is, when you look at him as opposed to a lot of the TNA roster, he's small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially because
he's outsized by most of the X Division guys.
Well, yeah. Austin Aries is like twice as big as he is. And Austin Aries isn't that big.
But, he's going to have a fair chance with Juan Francisco de Coronado.
Yeah,
he's not that big of a guy either.
Yeah, that's an intriguing match.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a clash of styles. Juan Francisco is definitely a little bit more on the technical side. Rockstar Spud likes to get a little flashy, from what I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
And, everyone's going to pull out all the stops for King of Trios.
It's King of Trios.
And the last match to bring up about night 2 is smooth sailing Ashley Remington, newcomer to Chikara.
Yeah, just recently made his debut at You Only Live Twice.
Who has a pretty stellar record so far. I'm pretty sure he's only lost once this year. He's had 2 victories against Chuck Taylor. He lost against Chuck Taylor, and he's got another victory over Kodama.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the loss of Chuck Taylor is his only one.
He's going to be going one-on-one against former WWE superstar Yoshi Tatsu.
This is so exciting. And especially now, specifically...
I was hoping for Tito Santana. Just kidding.
Arriba! Strictly because I was just listening to Talk is Jericho. Listening to his new podcast, which is about the Hardy Boys, which is really good. But he was talking about, a couple of years ago, he was working a match. He worked a match with Yoshitatsu, I think it was at one house show, and he was like, and Jericho was amazed at how talented this guy was. They ended up having another match, and he goes, okay, I want you using that Japanese style that you used last time. I don't want you, don't do the Yoshitatsu, timid Yoshitatsu stuff. I want you to go in, and I want you to hit me with Japanese style stuff. Yoshi started going real light on him. And so Jericho took his knee pad off and dropped a knee on his face. And he's talking about how, now in WWE, in the middle, if you start bleeding, they have to stop the match and contain the blood before the match continues. So Jericho was playing heel at this point. He takes a chair, he sits it in the ring, and he just sits there and waits for Yoshi to finish getting stitched up and cleaned up and everything. But then he said, then Yoshi, when that match restarted, Yoshi came with strong Japanese style and kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So the fact that we haven't got to see super talented Yoshitatsu actually shine in a match, at least in a while.
Yeah, Yoshitatsu was one of those guys who you hear from so many people is, he's so talented. He's so talented. He's so talented. WWE is a place where he didn't get to let that show.
He had some really good matches when he first came into ECW. Had some great matches with Christian. It was just far and few in between that you didn't really get the full idea of who Yoshitatsu was. But to have the stamp of approval from someone like Chris Jericho,
yeah,
obviously this kid is talented. And Chikara, you go out and you do your thing. Mm-hmm. It's not, hey, tone it down so you don't outshine the other guys. It's go out there and put on a bust-ass match. And I'm excited to see Yoshitatsu do that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest shame about him not being in WWE is that he got released right before the huge surge of popularity around NXT, where he was.
And I think especially with people like Kenta and people like Kalisto, all these foreign guys that are Prince Devitt, people like that. I really think that WWE might take a second look at Yoshitatsu, especially seeing what they're doing with NXT. We could definitely see Yoshitatsu back in WWE.
I'm hoping so.
But for now, we're going to see him in King of Trios against Ashley Remington.
Yeah.
I almost said Marion Fontana. That's a lie.
That would be a total lie. But that's okay, because I completely forgot who he was going against anyways.
That's right.
So at least you had a guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, night 2 is stacked.
That's
just as stacked as night 1.
Yeah.
If not more, because we've got way more outside talent coming in for night 2. Per the singles matches and the Voladores eliminators.
Yeah.
Alright, so then before night 3 starts, outside the Palmer Center at the Picnic Pavilion, they're going to be doing the potluck cookout thing. Everyone's encouraged to bring food or drink to share, and everybody will have a good time. That's set to start, I think, 2 hours before King of Trios starts, where we're going to open up night 3 in the typical way, the 2 semifinal matches. This is where you're going to see the guys start going maximum overdrive, balls to the wall, because you've got the 4 teams who are trying to make it to the finals.
Yeah. This whole night is just going to be action-packed because it's the finale.
Mm-hmm.
It's night 3 of one of the biggest indie shows, and everyone is going to be on their friggin' A game.
Yeah, King of Trios is often compared to being the indie WrestleMania.
Well, and we even mentioned it when we were talking about how King of Trios was coming back. Thomas Wolfe actually made the comparison that it's like, because you've got the tournament, you've got the tag team gauntlet, you've got the Red Voladores. It's almost like you're taking the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and you're putting them together.
Yeah, it's to them it's a 3-day WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You're having 3 shows. That could be anywhere, could be as long as any WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Back-to-back, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where they're all going to be going as hard as they can, as best as they can, every single time they go out there.
Which is right.
So these semifinals matches, this is going to be the 3rd time in 3 days that these guys are wrestling.
Yeah. They're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wrestling.
Following that, we have the finals of the Rey de Voladores. We mentioned this just a few minutes ago, but yeah, there's almost no bad possibility. There's no bad combination of the 8 guys to pair off in the finals. You can think out of any of them. Shinron versus Sonata. Chuck Taylor versus A.R. Fox.
Oh, man.
Friggin' Tigre Uno versus Sonata. I mean, that's a TNA X Division Championship match.
Yeah. In Chikara.
Yeah. Amasis versus Shinron. Amasis versus Unmasked Amasis. I mean, Rich Swann.
Indie fans will understand that one.
Chuck Taylor joke. Yeah, so, no idea who's going to make it to the finals, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Shinron versus A.R. Fox.
I think that would, just based on the talent those 2 guys have, and that I don't think they've ever been in the same place at the same time in any shape or form, that would be unbelievable. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing what Kid Hybrid has to bring to the table also, because I've never seen the guy.
Yeah.
So this could be a really entertaining introduction for me to who Kid Hybrid is.
Yeah, Orlando Christopher, great talent. I'm just hoping nerves don't get to him. This could be the moment. This could be the standout moment of his career thus far. It's happened for a lot of people at King of Trios night. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to boost him to the next level. Then we have 2 more non-tournament involved matches. We've got the Submission Squad. Pierre Abernathy, Davey Vega, Evangelistico, and Gary the Barn Owl are set to do 4 against 4 Atomicos action against a team not yet to be named.
I think we've talked about who this. Well, I think you and I specifically have talked about who this could potentially be. Maybe a one member of one team and then a eliminated team from trios.
Yeah. What my general hoping for is the Spirit Squad.
Oh yeah. Who is the squaddiest?
Yes, I want the battle for squad supremacy. I want to see the Spirit Squad team up with Homicide.
Oh, I think Homicide might kill all of his partners and then the Submission Squad. There's a whole lot of Homicide at Night 3 King of Trios.
Or, I don't know, I in my head I was trying to go over like all the different people that could team with the Spirit Squad and the interesting combinations you could come up with. I'm just hoping...
Well, can you imagine if it's... So who's the Submission Squad teaming with? Are they teaming with someone?
No, it's just the 4 of them.
Okay.
Against 4 unknown opponents, yeah.
What if this is where we get... this is where we get the return of Demolition.
Oh dear Lord.
This is where you get Demolition and...
Los Ice Cream.
Oh God. Demolicious. I just came up with a team name for a team that I fucking hate.
He doesn't like Los Ice
I don't
Creams.
like ice creams. I like ice cream. I don't like Los Ice Creams. They're scary.
But I don't think you have to worry about that
I
because
smile at you with dead eyes. It's weird.
They have announced the tag team gauntlet is back.
Oh yes. I love gauntlet matches. I've said this multiple times. I love gauntlet matches.
10 teams supposedly. It's never.
Which they say
it's never stopped Chikara from doing upwards of 1 year. I think they had 16 teams in their tag team gauntlet.
That's awesome. That's the way to go.
And right now they've got 4 teams announced. They've got NRG, the Batiri, Los Ice Creams, and Sydney Bakabella's Wrecking Crew, Oleg the Usurper, and the Savage Jaka.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen Jaka wrestle yet.
I don't think so. Maybe not.
I've seen Oleg. I've seen a couple of his YouTube matches. So I'm interested to see what Jaka can do. I've heard good things.
And it's King of Trios weekend. There's going to be a lot of teams eliminated out of the King of Trios tournament who could potentially end up in the tag team gauntlet. You could have 2 members of the Spirit Squad. The Osirian Portal are going to be there.
Yeah.
And, neither of them are booked for anything on Night 3 unless Amoxis makes it to the Rey de Voladores final. Speaking of Rey de Voladores, we could end up seeing a reunion of Chuck Taylor and Rich Swann. Have a Ronin reunion.
Good.
I'm keeping my fingers for Johnny Gargano to show up and get back together with Chuck Taylor.
A reunion. What if we get all 3 of them? The reunion of Ronin in Chikara.
What if that's who goes against the Submission Squad?
Was there a 4th member of Ronin?
No.
There could be.
It could be. You can have the Dunn brothers from Team UK, any 2 guys from the Block Party, Aries and Knockin', the Auditorium, any 2 members of either Colony team.
You know what? This is what...
Pieces of Hate, Night Eye for the Pirate Guy.
If the Spirit... Okay, I'm making a prediction now. If the Spirit Squad gets in it, this is where Mitch returns. Mitch returns for a battle of the squads.
There we go. Mitch, we miss ya. We know Kenny, Johnny, and Mikey are going to be there.
But screw that Nikki guy.
Yeah. No one knows what he ever, never
He's not doing anything.
never made anything out of his life.
He's probably just really working as a caddy now.
Yeah, legit.
Boring.
I know, terribly boring. And yeah, the one more match that hasn't even been announced yet. No inkling to whether it's going to be a singles match, a tag team match, a trios match, an Atomicos match, a battle royal, anything like that.
So there's just hey, we're going to have a match.
There's another,
but we're not going to tell you
match.
what kind.
So
that. Well, and then
combination of any of the people that are there, and I'm not going to put it past Sean Waltman to not lace up the boots one more time for night 3.
I hope he battles ex-Pakistan.
That would be hilarious.
I think that'd be awesome.
But now that I said that, I want him to team with the Spirit Squad.
Shawnee! Well, okay, and okay, so as far as matches that are uncertain, we still have the challenge from Kid Cyclone to Desalian.
Yes, Kid Cyclone challenges Desalian, show up to King of Trios, we're gonna fight. He didn't say we're gonna have a match. He said we're gonna fight. But Kid Cyclone hasn't been heard from since.
This is true. We did mention in the last wrestling rundown that Kid Cyclone has disappeared.
So a lot of people are saying the Flood is to blame for yet another Chikara roster member disappearance.
Yep, this wouldn't be the first time, and I guarantee you it won't be the last.
So that being said, the last match of the night, the King of Trios finals. So much at stake for one team here. Because, albeit except for the Spectral Envoy and a different formation of the Colony, these are all brand new teams to the King of Trios gold.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Icarus has held it once, Ares had it once. But they're both teaming with two partners who are unfamiliar with grabbing the medals.
Yeah. Fire Ant, Silver Ant have held it before, but Worker Ant never has.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what to expect from night 3. Because really I don't know what to expect from night 1. I don't know who's going to advance. So, it's...
I just got a funny text message from Thomas Wolf.
I'm just ridiculously excited over what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The whole shebang. We felt like it was important just to make sure that you got all of what's in store for the weekend that hasn't been announced. You never know what can happen in Chikara. Always surprises and shenanigans. But yeah, I think I'm going to put my money on the new Colony.
Go for the new Colony. Yeah, I can see that. So you're thinking that Fire Ant and Silver Ant will be 2-time King of Trios.
Mm-hmm.
Funny you should say that because Thomas Wolf via text message said that the first ever 2-time King of Trios will be the Spectral Envoy.
They have as good a chance as any to take it. And, they are one of the longest running trios in their current form that Chikara has to offer.
Yeah. And then I stated earlier that I believe, just based on how significant they've been to the Flood storyline, that I'm saying 3-Pec-O is going to be taking the King of Trios this year.
We all picked Technico teams.
Yeah. But on the other side of the coin, there are a lot of Flood teams.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been since 2010. The last 2 teams that have won have been Technico teams, Spectral Envoy and the Colony.
This is true. And then before that was BDK and Fist.
Fist, yeah.
So, this, that's 2 Rudo teams, then 2 Technico teams, so this could be the year of the Rudo again, especially with how prevalent the Flood is in Chikara.
Yeah. So, you're watching this video, hopefully. Post in the comments, who do you want to win King of Trios? Who do you expect to see in the 10-team tag team gauntlet? 10-team.
Demolition.
Who do you think is going to go against the submission squad on night 3? Who's your pick to win Rey de Voladores?
Just for the hell of it, who do you think is going to take Ray de Valladores? If you could pick one person. Just because I want to let everyone know what Thomas Wolfe said via text message.
Honestly, I think we're going to see Shenron take it this year. But if I had my way, we'd see Chuck Taylor walk out as the first ever 2-time Ray de Valladores champion.
Well, I'm going to go kind of the same way. I definitely would like to see Shenron take it. Super talented kid. Hasn't really got to do much in Chikara, so it'd be nice to see him get recognized for something like this. But I wouldn't mind seeing my favorite tag team be the only tag team to both have won from Ray de Valladores. So my second pick, technically, I wouldn't be upset if Shenron won, but I would definitely be okay if Amasis won. And I happened to ask Thomas Wolfe who he thought would take Ray de Valladores, and he said, based on the IndyStar Spotlight, Rich Swann ain't winning. And if you want to know why that's funny, click the annotation right here, and you'll find out.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. I like Thomas.
Yeah.
He's a funny kid. Thanks for watching. We're all excited. You guys are excited if you're wrestling fans.
Oh yeah.
We're excited. Look at this thing that I built.
The Wall of Trios. That's a Kevin Hawk design right there.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with that.
So we'll see you back a couple days from now.
Be sure to
episode 14 of the Wrestling Rundown.
Episode 14, we'll be doing Night of Champions predictions. Kevin Hawk will be having his 5 matches that everyone should see, and we'll be doing the usual rundown of all the WWE shows. Not
to mention, I'll be giving a special update on who's advanced in the King of Trios so far.
The indie section will be big. Yeah.
Big one this year.
Yeah.
Big one this week. And I have a question this week, too.
Yes, a brand new indie question.
The question was from Thomas Wolfe this week, too.
Yes.
My partner gave me the question.
That's technically a fan-submitted question right there.
Yeah.
Be sure to check us out. Sunday, the brand new episode of Wrestling Rundown will be there. You'll get all kinds of updates. And we'll see you there.
Thanks.